Welkom bij de Zeilhelden-update van 23 mei. Vandaag hebben wij Nathalie Queré en Chris Nicholson uitzending. Klaas.
Ja, Chris Nicholson inderdaad, van de Ocean Race. Spannend. Ik heb wat dingen over de Nederlandse havens. Ik heb vanmorgen even gebeld met de Waddenhavens. En we kijken nog even naar de chartervaart, want die hebben een petitie. Maar goed, we kijken natuurlijk uit naar het interview met Chris Nicholson.
Om te beginnen vandaag, helaas gaat de Hiswa te water die 2 september zou beginnen niet door, is deze week besloten. En daarnaast is ook het treurige nieuws binnengekomen dat de ORC Worlds, die in Newport, Rhode Island in de Verenigde Staten gehouden zouden worden, eind september ook afgelast zijn. Klaas?
Ja, jammer dat het toch allemaal niet doorgaat inderdaad. Vooral die Hiswa is altijd wel gezellig, de buiten, de natte Hiswa. Maar goed, helaas. Volgend jaar weer. Ik heb vanmorgen even gebeld met de Waddenhavens, Terschelling en Vlieland. En die zitten eigenlijk een beetje, ze zaten te brainstormen aan de koffie vanmorgen. Want wat is er nu? Het systeem is nu, je moet je van tevoren melden. En ze hebben een beperkt plek. Op Vlieland liggen ze om en om box vol, box leeg. En aan Terschelling mogen ze alleen langs de steigers liggen. Er wordt wel gemeld, er wordt zelfs veel te veel gemeld. En mensen melden zich waarschijnlijk bij meerdere havens, want ze komen niet. Dus bij Terschelling hadden ze vannacht 1200 meter beschikbaar en er lag maar 1100 meter aan boten. Dus er konden gewoon nog boten bij, op dit moment ook. Dus ze gaan op zoek naar een beter systeem. Een ander corona-ding is de chartervloot. De Nederlandse charterschepen, die hebben nog steeds heel veel last van de restricties. Ze moeten allemaal wel hun licenties betalen, hun certificaten. Maar er komt gewoon niks binnen, want er kan niet gevaren worden. En die boten, die zijn gewoon van zeilers, dat zijn ondernemingen. Die gaan failliet. Die zitten echt met hun handen in het haar. Dit is onze cultuur, die zou gesteund moeten worden. Maar er komt geen cent van de overheid. En ze gaan zich nu roeren. En dat begint in ieder geval met een petitie. Ik zou zeggen, teken die allemaal op petities.nl. Red de Hollands gezeilvloot. Nou, je vindt hem wel op petities.nl. En help die mensen, want dit gaat echt niet goed zo.
And today we have Managing Director from the W Ocean Racing, Nathalie Queré, and sailing legend Chris Nicholson in the show. Thank you for joining us. And Klaas, you're a huge fan of Chris Nicholson, right?
Yeah, definitely. I follow him a long time. And as a former 5 times 49er world champion, Chris, is that correct?
Back in the old days? No, I wish it was 5. There's definitely 3 that I know of.
Oh, 3, okay.
I'm happy to go with 5.
Okay, I'm always amazed to see the skippers of the current skippers of the Volvo Ocean Race in their old days on 80-foot skiffs and doing crazy things, and now sailing on big boats. But great to have you here.
Nathalie, W Ocean Racing, what boat are you currently sailing with?
Well, at the moment we are managing the VO65 from Max Zonneveld. So after the last race, we kept a very good relationship with Max Zonneveld. They've asked us to look after the yacht. So this is what we are currently sailing with. This is corporate sailing, so we are not racing. It's corporate sailing for customers.
Okay, so since you say you sail with the old AkzoNobel boat, is the boat still branded that way?
Yes, the boat is still branded AkzoNobel. The boat is in Alicante at the moment, onshore, waiting for when we can resume our sailing activities. But at the moment, yes, it's still the purple boat.
So, but you are the Dutch entry. Why did you decide to make it a Dutch-based company?
Well, a very simple reason. I live in the Netherlands. When we started the company with Chris last year, after the race, in the continuation of the race, we met during the race, and we felt that we had a lot to bring to the sailing business. Both on the sports side, but also on the business side of things. We started the company here from the Netherlands. I mean, the Netherlands is my second home country. So that's very important. But also it is at the heart of Europe. It's a very interesting base for us to sail from. It's also the home of a lot of international companies. And when you're looking at putting a campaign together, and if you look at the experience and the way we can provide value to potential sponsors, we feel that we are really well equipped to talk to multinationals. And here in the Netherlands, this is the right place to be.
Mm-hmm. And the Netherlands obviously has a very rich heritage in sailing. With that being said, we have a lot of very talented sailing talents, young aspiring sailors in the country. Chris, can you tell me a little bit more about the possible crew formation? Do you already have an idea who might be possibly on the crew? What nationalities are they from? Can you tell us something about that?
Oh, yeah, hi Stephanie. Yeah, like with these international projects, quite often there's, you always want to try and do a flavour of the sponsor and of the country that you're flagged with. So, having said that, there's some countries in the world that are quite easily to satisfy that. Australia, New Zealand, the Netherlands, France, Spain are those countries where there's a big pool of sailors that are they're almost race ready for this, and we've been sailing with some Dutch sailors last year when we were doing some of our corporate activities. Rosalind Cooper, sorry, my pronunciation, and and okay, there you go,
Yeah.
and but it's kind of like it's almost new generation of younger, to be honest, the younger Dutch sailors that I think are that are the future. So that's kind of where we're more targeted.
Yes. So in terms of the selection process, what does it look like? For these aspiring young sailors, can you tell us a little bit more about how you handle this?
Well, to date, as such, there basically is no selection process yet until we've got a fair journey ahead of us in terms of financing and finishing off the project. So to date, it's more about like we're doing the hard work now to try and get to the point of entry into the race. So what do I look for now? I look for people that are devoted to the cause of doing the race and improving themselves and being the best that they can and fitting into a team. So all the dynamics that you want to see in the race that get to stay now.
So you're still in the scouting process, as to say.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's like no one's job's guaranteed, myself included. If we're not doing the job as good as we can, then there's a lot of people that want to do this race. So it's kind of like it's a tough selection, and it needs to be. But you also give people every opportunity possible.
Yes, and I'm pretty sure there are a lot of youngsters watching right now that have hopes and dreams of one day competing in this race. I would assume there is no. Is there a way to submit a resume somewhere?
Yeah, lots of people, their resumes find your way to the inbox. Obviously, is the most logical step, but like the people who are right for this race, they're known. They've sailed with somebody who sailed with someone who and they're good people. They work hard. They're devoted to what they want to do. They have all the right ethics and work ethic and it gives them a really high chance of succeeding. And then they've got to be prepared to start off, fairly low down on the ladder and work their way up. It's a really hard game to kind of come in at middle level or higher level as such. You know, because it is, you know, it's the premier yacht race, the ocean race in the world.
You have to pay your dues first.
Absolutely.
And Klaas, I think you had a question as well, right?
Yeah, I was wondering, Chris, are you aiming to be the skipper yourself?
Yeah, at this stage, yes, but like I said, you know, it's not nothing's guaranteed. But you know, like to be honest, you know, like with W Ocean Racing and how we're running the project, we'll do what is best and what fits in with the project.
Natalie, I see a wonderful picture of the boat behind you, but it looks very different than the AXO boat. Can you tell me a little bit about the branding, the sponsoring? What's the status, and what are you looking for at the moment?
Yeah, so a beautiful image of a beautiful boat, a little bit white. I think that's very much neutral, and that's on purpose today. We are not unveiling our colors yet. We've been having quite advanced discussions with many companies, many international companies. As Chris was saying, we are still in the process of finalizing our project, our campaign. We are not yet at all in a situation to announce any partners. Of course, a main partner, a name partner is great, and that's something that we are really looking forward to. But we are also very keen to have a family of sponsors, companies together that strengthen each other with their activation plan, with their business opportunity, co-opportunities. So that's a little bit the setup that we are looking at.
Now at the moment you're sailing with the old Volvo Ocean Race 65, but there are also IMOCAs in the next Ocean Race. Is that part of your plan to sail with IMOCA?
You know, Klaus, I think from a pure sailing point of view, if you ask which is the boat you would prefer to sail now for the most enjoyment, it would be the 60. And if you ask me which is the boat that you'd prefer to race, and then the 65 probably jumps back into it, because the racing, as we all saw in the last race, has never ever been closer and more competitive than the last race. So it's kind of it's a very hard decision. What I think will come down to is the practicalities of the naming rights sponsor. What's the best fit, and what delivers the most for them, and you know, and also for the sport. So I'm reserving judgment on that for a little bit further down the track. I know we'd like to have an answer now, but you know, like we're in a unique position where we have access to a 65, and we don't have to make that call yet.
Mm-hmm. And a lot probably also depends on the potential sponsors and their wishes for the race, I would assume.
Yeah, absolutely. So you know, and that's first and foremost. You know, I can see a lot of enjoyment in either boat. So you know, I'm not too fussed.
Well, thank you very much. And with that being said, we're going to pause the conversation here. For the full conversation, please listen to our podcast online. Thank you.
Wij hebben enorm genoten van deze beelden van Anneloes Lammerts, kitesurfer. En zij vaart kitefoiled. Normaal op de meest exotische plekken ter wereld. Maar ja, nu door de corona kan dat niet. En ze kwam weer even terug naar de wateren waar ze 10 jaar geleden leerde surfen in Zeeland. Kijk maar. Tot zover Zeilhelden Update.
Volgende week weer een nieuwe uitzending. Tot dan!
Ja, tot volgende week.